Hi, so I'm Jeff, and this is my 1988 Range Rover. If there are any weird cuts, it's because I've said something stupid. A few things about the car. I'm the third owner, as far as I know. The previous owner had it for about 17 years and did a lot of the modifications to it. But for the last few years that he owned it, he hadn't driven it much. So a lot of the money that I put into it after I bought it was to kind of get stuff that had just kind of rotted to get up to speed. So I got new Bilstein shocks put in. The transfer case was leaking, so I have all new seals, all new bearings in the transfer case. I have a new master cylinder for the brake system, and I put a new heads unit in. He had put in a 6-speaker system with an amp, but the head unit was kind of busted. And I fixed a bunch of other stuff that was kind of going with it. But surprisingly, pretty much everything works. As you can see, kind of looking around, the interior of the car is in really good shape. The exterior of the car is really good shape. A lot of it, that's in a different video. And yeah, so let me turn it on and we can kind of play with some stuff. So yeah, it's obviously sounds a lot different. Yeah, so inside the so the engine is actually from a 2000, so it's a 4.6 liter from a 2000, fuel injected, obviously, about 220 horsepower, 300 pound-feet of torque. So unlike most of the Range Rovers from this era, it actually has a lot of get up and go, which we'll do when I kind of drive for a little bit. All the lighting stuff works, and the air conditioning works, the heat works, cruise control has been working, and then it kind of got a little spotty. The windows and stuff, they're a little slow going back up, but they all work. Amazingly enough, even the sunroof works, which I'll leave open for some light in here. Yeah, so the horn works, which is even really loud, which is kind of awesome. And I can't really think of anything else. The seat stuff works. Yeah, can't think of much else to talk about. So let's go for a drive for a bit. I might cut between boring parts, but just to get so you have an idea of kind of what's going on. Oh, the transfer case and everything, obviously, because I fixed it, that works all great. Although we don't really need any off-roading right now. So here, let me stop real quick. And then I was uphill, but you get the idea. But yeah, there's cross-drilled brake rotors, so this thing actually stops surprisingly well for a car of its size. And the brake feel is fantastic. I've driven a lot of different cars. This has a surprisingly good brake feel. It's the stock transmission, haven't had any problems with that. And as a British car, of course, it leaks a little bit, but the leak is pretty much just a slow leak from the power steering, seemingly the reservoir. But it's really slow. Like, you only need to put in fluid maybe every 6 months at the most. I talked to my mechanic about it, and he said that kind of like pretty much every Rover from this era leaks from that. Ironically, it's like one of the few German parts on the car, but because it's from ZF. But whatever. Hold on to the camera a little bit. Yeah, so it's surprisingly fun to drive. It leans a bit in turns, but you don't feel like you're going to roll over or anything. There's a bit of a lift to it. I think the previous owner put in about a 1-inch lift, so it's a little higher, which looks really nice. And if you do off-roading in it, it'll have some better ground clearance.